Hey everyone, this is the Lundquist Real Estate Podcast. I'm John Lundquist, and I'm here with Tish Strickler.
Hey guys.
So I hope everyone had a great holiday. Merry Christmas. Looking forward to the New Year's. We're just going to do this show kind of, summarizing the past year of real estate, the good and bads that we can recall. This is the finishing of our first year of doing this podcast. Just kind of thought we'd summarize everything, our thoughts, and just head into the new year and see where this all takes us, real estate and podcast wise, I guess. So Tisha, what are your thoughts? Where do you want to start?
Man, it's been a crazy year in real estate, honestly.
It's been different, but it has been a fantastic year. I mean, it's been a pins and needles kind of year, but at the end of the day, the numbers look good. There's been a lot of homes sell. Our office has sold a lot of homes. The numbers that our office as a whole, my personal numbers I'm looking at a record year.
Me too.
Interest rates, low inventory, election year. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that historically they would say would impact sales.
Absolutely.
And the entire year I was scared of it in some ways. But the work it kept trickling in and trickling out. We never built any inventory, but it worked out pretty good. Why do you think that the sales were so good based on all those other obstacles?
One of my big things that I think probably drove a lot of, especially your first-time home buyer, is the amount that they're paying in rent.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's inflated.
These kids, literally, as long as they can qualify to get a home loan, they're saving hundreds of dollars a month in purchasing versus paying rent.
Yeah. Well, I just did the math, and it's just quick, easy math. So, don't fact check me here and get into the details. But if you're paying $1,200 a month rent, I can sell you a $180,000 home. Now, we're not including taxes or insurance into that payment.
Right.
But I can sell you a $180,000 home with 5% down on a 30-year mortgage for $1,205 a month.
Exactly.
Or you can continue to rent, whatever your options are. But, that's really high rent for our area. It really is.
For Wabash, Indiana, absolutely.
Home values have went way up the last few years, but rent has been in such high demand, it has definitely followed. Now, I don't know how someone saves for their down payment and things like that, paying $1,100, $1,200 a month rent. It's just when we were starting out, it wasn't like that.
I've had this conversation with a couple of the younger agents in the office that were paying rent.
Sure.
And I'm sitting there and they're telling me what they're paying in rent. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm totally going to age myself here. But my very first apartment that I got the year that I graduated, I was paying $350 a month for it.
What was that, like 1960?
Shush.
No, that was in the 2000s. But yeah, it's changed very quickly. A couple decades, and it's 3 times what it used to be.
Absolutely.
But that is a struggle for people. I think you're right, though. I think that high rent has trumped high interest rates. That and the lack of inventory. Wabash isn't used to historically having more buyers than homes to sell.
Absolutely not.
And that's what we've been dealing with for several years. And I don't know. There's a lot of contributing factors, but I don't think that as a small rural community, I don't think that you can have population decline and a housing shortage at the same time.
Right.
And so if we're curbing our population decline since COVID, and that is partly why we've got not enough homes to sell everybody, I guess, and at the end of the day, it's a good problem to have. We'll solve the housing problem. It may take a few years, but we'll figure it out. But at least people aren't leaving and new people are coming.
Yes.
What about the podcast? I mean, it's been our first year ever in life doing a podcast. Like, we hadn't toyed with this in any other adventures. This was it. We just decided one day to start this, and with the help of Rob, here we are.
I don't hate it as much as I thought I would. I was not. It was not something that I was excited about.
Yeah.
Out of my comfort zone quite a bit, but I've had a lot of fun with it.
Well, I'm sure our 19 subscribers have noticed since our very first one that we've lightened up and that we've had more fun with it and that we're getting a lot more comfortable, and it's not all about, for us, that we're not becoming, professional influencers. This is something we're doing for fun. This is something that we do to help inform, what our perspectives are in the real estate market.
We really do it for the bloopers. That's what we do it for.
We do it for all the shorts that we use in all sorts of different advertising areas. That's why I can joke a little bit about the subscriber numbers and things like that. I hope it builds and grows. I do. But, that's not what we set out to accomplish when we started this thing. I'm glad that there are 19 people out there that actually follow us routinely, and I will be just as happy if there's 1,000. I'm fine either way. I have enjoyed it, and I think we're going to continue to build and grow and keep this thing going. I would love to know, like, the viewers' opinion of what they would like to see more of. We're kind of learning as we go here, and I don't even do any research behind the scenes to try to figure out how to make it better. I just show up and do another one. So help us. If you want to comment, and tell us what you'd like to see. We'll try to fit it into 2025. But 2024 has been a
roller coaster.
I think it's been a fantastic year.
It has been.
I mean,
there's been a lot of, I feel like there's been a lot of growing within this year in different ways. Be it the podcast. I mean, neither one of us, let's be honest, neither one of us were like, oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But growing in a bunch of different avenues, we've got a totally new team, for the most part, in the office.
Yep.
And that has been exciting and terrifying. And there's been a lot of excitement coupled with
change.
A
lot of change.
And outside of comfort zones. And sitting here today, a couple days before the actual end of the year, I can say that even the parts of the puzzle that seemed terrifying has turned out to be pretty good for 2024.
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, like Tish said, it's been a roller coaster of a market. However, it has not been what a lot of the realtors refer to as the COVID market.
No.
That panic of that in our region at least has kind of simmered down. Thank goodness. Because of that, I'm going to say I've had a much more enjoyable year. I've sold more real estate than I ever have, but it has been so much more enjoyable for me as the realtor because we're not in constant bidding wars and escalation clauses and
final and best.
Even though the home values are holding their own, they've come back just enough that I still feel like people are getting a decent deal on their home. And a couple years ago, it was how bad do you want it?
Yep. I actually have not had to say that to a single client this year.
Yeah. And so that's been more pleasant. I think it's been a better experience for the buyers, sellers, and me, honestly. It's been a lot more fun. You're right. There's been a lot of conversion and changes within our office and how we do things. I couldn't honestly be more honest. Our office environment has turned a complete corner. Everybody in there is having a good time. As the manager, that makes me very happy.
Yep.
There were some changes, some people that wanted to go different ways. I'm glad they're doing great. They're successful. I love working with them. But, we made some adjustments, and I think it's been beneficial to everyone. And I hope I'm speaking, I'm kind of on the outside looking in, but I hope I'm speaking the truth when I say it's been beneficial for them too, you know. But 2024 was a rocky road that ended fantastic in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You know, I've learned so much with this podcast. I just all kinds of different things that in 2022 and 3, I never thought I would ever be doing.
I will say I've put a lot more miles on my vehicle this year.
Yeah, as long as you're making money, that's a good thing.
A lot more miles.
Yep. We've actually been outside of our territory a little more this year.
Yes.
You know, we always have said Wabash County and surrounding areas, but even though I will say the lion's share of my business is local, and I love that that's the case. We have went into southern Allen County, you know, Kosciuszko County.
I just closed one 2 weeks ago in Allen County, in southwest Allen County. I'm going back up there today.
Yep, down in Grant County more. That expansion's a good thing. It means people further away are finding out who we are, and they're, you know, enjoying doing business with us. I just, you know, I think 2024 has been a very good point to say we're kind of turning a corner in certain ways. And whether it's, I don't know if it means growth, but I definitely think that there's some new things on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to them.
I hope that 2025 is equally as good as 2024 was. Looking back in the thick of it, I'm like, man, this year.
Oh, 2025 is going to be better. I truly think it's going to be better. I do. I don't know if, I think we're going to have some of the same problems, inventories, things like that. You know, we're trying to do what we can with those new home housing additions that we've talked about in some previous, you know, episodes, but those things, they solve the problem slowly, not overnight.
Well, and let's be honest, when the state, when the new rules came out, we were petrified. We were terrified of what that meant. I mean, all the way around. I don't know that there was a realtor with a license that practices real estate every single day that wasn't terrified of what that was actually going to mean and what it was going to do.
Because of the timeline of that, they threw it in our laps without letting us educate ourselves on what it was going to be ahead of time. And so we had to implement it into our daily operations without really fully educating ourselves on all of it ahead of time. There's no easy way to do that. And I think it's still going to change. There's still changing forms.
Well, I was getting ready to say, spoiler alert, it's changing again for 2025.
It's going to continue to do that. But you know what? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, and we'll keep doing what we always do, which is selling people their homes. You know, making one person's dream come true and the next person's, you know, new chapter opening, and we'll do what we've always done. I
think that in itself, your last statement, was my favorite part of 2024. I was super lucky I got to help some that I didn't know, some that are family members. I have literally got to have a front row seat to some amazing dreams happen for people this year. And nothing can take the excitement of all of that wrapped into one away. Like, it was incredible when you get to be part of, heck, the one closing that I had, we literally closed the house and they got married like 2 days later. Like, it was exciting.
Right. Well, I think that you're feeling that a lot more in this market, because even if those kind of things were happening in clients' lives back when the market was so competitive, the experience was not a fun one.
It was stressful.
So some of that other stuff didn't come up. They were so stressed out and focused on getting to the closing table or getting their accepted offer that you didn't have as much time to enjoy the other pieces that were falling into place with their home purchase. And this year, things have kind of slowed down a little bit to where you can actually...
We got to enjoy the experience with them.
Exactly.
It was enjoyable. Mm-hmm. It was an enjoyable year in real estate.
After 2 years of what it was, it was very nice.
It was.
Kind of reminds us why we do this. But
I was also lucky enough, putting all of those random miles on my vehicle, to see, I would say that realtors as a whole, at least the ones that I personally got to work with this year, there's a lot more camaraderie between agents than I have seen
it has
previously.
These commission law changes have changed the way a lot of realtors are working and treating each other. It's more of a friendly competition, which I think we've always maintained with our local people that we work with all the time. But even in the outskirts and the other regions that, we're not in daily, I've seen a lot more of that too.
Yes.
I have. So there's good with everything. Everybody was terrified of it, but it'll be fine.
I mean, there's one transaction that I have literally established a hopefully career-long relationship with that agent, whereas prior years, if I was up in their territory,
may not have happened that way.
It wouldn't have happened that way.
Sure.
That was refreshing and exciting. I love people, so when it's pens and needles and not enjoyable, it's not as much fun for me to go to the office every day, if you will. So for me, that was probably my favorite part of 2024 is people being people again, if you will.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we've got to keep our listing inventory high. We can't get Rob getting bored. That's right. He's got to have plenty of listings to take photos of.
Yes.
So we got to keep him busy. 2025, we've got to maintain that for sure. I don't want him calling and crying about,
What are you guys doing?
So, Rob, what do you think about the year?
I think it was great.
Yeah?
Yeah. Me personally, I had the most growth and the most challenges. I learned the most, that's for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, that means that some of the things that we've experienced across the board are, definitely across other offices' boards as well. He works for a lot of real estate companies, not just ours.
Right.
And if he's had growth, and obviously others are growing too and using him more. And of course, he does a lot of photography that's not real estate related too. But
yeah. Also true.
I feel like I'm speaking for most offices when I say it's been a good year. I think it's not just a Lundquist real estate thing. I think it's a real estate thing. I think everybody's had a pretty good year. So, where do you think our podcast is going to go in the next year?
Well, I think new topics. I think now that we're getting kind of used to it, I think that you'll see a new side of everybody sitting behind these mics as we're going, having a little bit more fun with it.
I would like to get a few more guests.
Yes.
Again, I think things are settling down a little bit. Maybe we can get some people to make some time to come on, and we've gotten a few lenders, stuff like that, but I think it'd be fun to have a few more guest speakers.
Yes.
Specific, episodes on, what their piece of real estate pertains to. Maybe jump out of the studio here and do some off-site podcasts. That'd be fun if we can find some locations for that. Absolutely. Anybody has a good location for that, hit me up. We're kind of thinking about doing that. We'll just see what the year brings, but I think it'll be a good year. There's no indication otherwise. Right. So, I don't know. I'm running out of things to brag on 2024, but it's just been a really good year. And the podcast has been fun. Yes. I hope somebody comments back on this one and gives us some ideas that we can build from. Tells us what they'd like to see more of. what they didn't like. Hell, I'll take the criticism. Tell me what you didn't like. Whatever. But this will be the episode to do that. We're summarizing up the year. Tell us what we did good. Tell us what we did bad. Try to be nice, but you don't want to hurt Tish's feelings.
Yeah. My feelings.
How do you think your real estate career is going to go next year? If you had to guess,
Well, I guess it slowed down a little bit in the last month. Always notoriously does around Christmas time, though. But I seem to be already picking back up exactly where I left off right before everybody got into Christmas mode. Mm-hmm. So I'm extremely hopeful that it goes just as well, if not better.
Well, you better, capitalize on that in the first of the year, because you've got some competition coming up. We've still got Ashley in the office working. She's getting better and better every day, more educated and more, she's just not a new agent anymore. She's starting to learn everything that goes into this. And Ava's coming up. She's coming out of the gate and is going to be on your heels here pretty soon.
Yep.
So, we got to be dual rolled here. We got to teach them, guide them, and help them get started, but we've got to make a living too.
Yes.
So competition makes everybody, push a little harder, I think.
I'm actually excited. I like watching the new agents coming out of their shell into their own.
Sure.
Me personally, it's just the public speaking portion of coming out of my shell for the podcast. Other than that, I can talk to anyone. Like, my mom was 100% certain I would be kidnapped as a child. I can talk to anybody.
Yeah. Well, there's got to be new people coming in all the time. I'm glad to have a few of them in my office.
Absolutely.
And it's a good thing. It's a good thing for, every single person in our office has their own social circles, their own thing going. And so, I like having a couple, new up and coming realtors in the office that, I don't look at it like it's a bad thing at all. I welcome it. I hope every single person in the office outsells me. I want everybody there's enough for everybody.
Well, and touching on, especially with like the new agents and those kinds of things, I think one thing that we established this year that was a big deal is if you're working with a Lundquist agent, you're working with Lundquist. Like, if I've had a lot of family emergency situations come up this year, I know that if I call Ava or I call Ashley and say, hey, I really, really need some help. Can you do this? They're going to be more than willing to help out.
Sure.
And with our newer agents, clients, I learned this when I was the new agent in the office. A lot of people are a little more apprehensive with the newer agent than they are necessarily a seasoned agent at times. We never, ever, ever throw our new agents out to the wolves, if you will. No. We're right there with them. So it's an overall experience, I feel, that you're getting. I still learn something new every day. I will never be able to buy your dad's knowledge from being in this business, but I can ask him every question in the entire world and sponge of any and all information that you or him or Christy or anybody else is willing to give. I also think it's a huge advantage with our appraisers in the office. Christy and Dave are our two appraisers. Gosh, Dave's been an appraiser for how long?
I don't know.
I mean 20, 30 plus years.
30 plus years.
So the wealth of knowledge and information that you can pick from their brains and building the teamwork that we have built in 2024, I'm super appreciative of it just because it's not that way at all offices.
No.
And I'm not speaking like Wabash County. I'm talking in a whole. When you're working with one of us, we've got the backing of all of us, and that's amazing.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's been what our office has always tried to be. It's always been a primary goal, and we've achieved it, off and on over the years, many times. By all means, use the realtor within our company that you're friends with or you're referred to. Know that if it's one of our new agents, they've got the experience of the entire group backing them. As they learn and grow, we're there for them. You get the knowledge of Bob Lundquist and the
personality of Tisha.
of whichever person you're friends with or that you were referred to. It is not singular. You get everybody.
Yes.
We've always done that. We've always helped each other out. An office our size and a community our size, I don't see how we can run an office any other way. I don't. There's you go to a big franchised office someplace, there's just so many people in it. That's just the way it's going to be. And there's reasons for that. But we're a small, close-knit group. We have to get along. We have to help each other out.
Yep.
Somebody goes on vacation, we got somebody to fill in. It's just works well. But that office environment is very important to making that all happen.
Absolutely.
And Keanu, he's got a new baby at home, but he's coming out of the gate strong. We've got a lot of good people in our office. We do.
Keanu's new baby, just in case you're wondering, is absolutely adorable. He is adorable.
Well, but we do. We've got a lot of different age groups. We've got a lot of different people that all get along well. That diverse group means good things for our company.
Yes.
And, check them out on our website. If you're looking for a realtor, and you don't have somebody that you're, just a solid referral that you're going to use, look at their bios. Interview them. I've been interviewed before by clients.
Me too.
But I think that there's somebody within our company that can very adequately help anybody, and make it a good experience, personality-wise. There's somebody within our group now that can connect with just about anyone.
Absolutely.
So those are all good things moving into 2025, and things that we're proud of achieving over the last few years.
Yes.
But, I don't know what else to say other than thank all of you and thank all of our clients, and thanks for another great year. Heading into year 44.
Help us make 2025 as amazing as 2024 was.
Yeah. So we will be back ready to talk to you guys again after the first of the year. See you soon.